Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our team Zoom. So happy to see all of you tonight. We have an amazing evening tonight with an equine therapist and who is a friend of mine, Debbie Kral, and I'm going to introduce her to all of us. So I just want to say if you could please keep your lines muted so we can all hear well. And maybe what we'll do is we'll turn off our videos while she's sharing, and then we can turn them back on when we have the Q&A time. So my name is Julie White. In case you don't know who I am, I live in Pennsylvania, and I'm one of the leaders in our wonderful company, LifeVantage. So I just want to thank you so much for joining us, and if you're a guest, a special welcome to you. So now for Debbie. Debbie has been involved with LifeVantage for 8 years, and she spent her entire life in the horse world between Grand Prix, hunter jumps, and race horses. She traveled for about 30 years up and down the East Coast, and she worked on 2 Olympic teams, the US and Canadian 3-day event team. LifeVantage found her, and she was able to retire after 3 years from a 6-figure income. So we're so excited, Debbie, to have you on here this evening. And it's just an honor for you to join us. And we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to share with us tonight. So I'm going to turn the time over to you. I know you said you were going to share about your story and also just a lot of great information on how to take good care of our horses. So Debbie?
Well, number one, I want to thank you so much for thinking of me and inviting me to your team. That's one of the things that I had to get used to was working as a team, because as a business owner and as a therapist, almost every other therapist is going to be your competition. And so it's a whole different world, just like it is for, a lot of different businesses. But that was really something for me to get used to. And it has been, it's just been an honor to be involved with this company and meeting people across the world that have got the like minds and want to help people and help horses and help. I was excited to be around people that wanted to help, but also wanted to work as a team. And that has made, it's made a huge difference. I don't know if you knew this, and I'm going to just throw it out at the beginning of the story because it is part of my journey. I don't know if you know it, but I had brain surgery 6 months ago, and of course not expected. And I just thought, wow, what if I had not, dug the well before I was thirsty? Because it's really I'm just now getting back into doing meetings and doing calls, and to have 6 months to actually be able to heal and sleep that I need and that sort of thing. It's been an incredible feeling. You can't really explain it to anybody. And I've always wanted my team to be able to have freedom, that if something did happen, that they would have that. And then to have it happen to you and realize that you could step back for that length of time and still have, leaders stepping up and your paycheck didn't change. That's been incredible. So that's my wish for every one of you, is that whatever you're doing, that you go ahead and create that income that will let you either completely retire and do nothing, or it'll be there for you while you're building. So that was a huge part of my story now, is that I could step back like that and then come back when I'm comfortable. I didn't know if I was going to live. I didn't know if our hands were going to work, as it was. There's been some hiccups and stuff that you work on. But I'm able to come back now, but on my time. So very grateful. Just want to make sure that part of the story is in there. But I've spent the rest of my life working my behind off. The horse world knows what that means. 7 days a week. I've been an equine PT and a custom saddle maker. We had a custom saddle shop in Ocala, Florida for 24 years. So between running and operating that and being on the road, it was about 110 hours a week, every single week. It seemed like in December, about the time that we started back from New York, back through Kentucky, did the Nationals, get almost back to Florida. When you got here, my home was in Ocala, Florida, my farm, but I usually only see it. I figured out one time that was 52 days a year I was at my farm. The rest of the time I was on the road with the horses. So when when I realized that, I kind of sold the farm. It's like, why keep paying somebody to go mow it? Because I didn't have my horses there. There was nobody to take care of them. So it was, in a way, it was a frustrating business, but at the same time, obviously loved it to stay on the road that long. And I loved working with horses. I loved working with, to me, it didn't have to be any of the big horses. It could be any kind of horse. It could be the ponies. I just love the animals. And a few years ago, probably about 10, 12 years ago, the industry really did take a change. I'll say I was very disappointed. It wasn't about the horses anymore. It was about winning. It was about money, and it was about selling horses, and a lot of things that's not why I got in the business. I got in because I wanted to make a difference. And there was a point where you just couldn't say this horse needs time off, or he needs, he hates his job. He needs to do something else, and somebody would listen. And about the last 10 years of my life was, wow, this is not making me happy because I'm not seeing changes. So I didn't know what I was really going to do. Been in the horse world all my life. So I thought for sure I'll find something that's kind of in there, but maybe it won't be so attached to these other things I don't like. And it was a complete stranger. Walked up to my truck. I was in Saratoga, New York. And most people don't know that, but that morning I'd gotten rid of a lot of big time trainers. I was tired of seeing what I was seeing. And I was sitting there going, what are you going to do now? Didn't get rid of all of them, but enough of them that it was going to make a dent in the income. And a man, a woman, and a little girl was in front of my truck. I pulled up, and they turned around, looked at the signs on my door. It said Therapeutic Equine Services. And the husband bumped the wife and sent the wife over. And they come over, and they want to show me something. And probably for the last 20, 25 years, I've had a couple of people a week that want to show me something. And it's a product they want me to sell. I'll look at it. There's no science behind it. Tell them I'm not interested. They tell me they make a lot of money. I go, I have an income. I want something that works. And I never have found anything that really works, but I always look. So Jackie Brown, with her husband, Justin, came over, and they'd been in the business about 6 weeks and wanted to show me something. They wanted to show me that ABC clip. And I looked at it, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, why don't I know about this? Because I was like some of the first therapists to use ultrasound with the horses, brought the lasers to that world. Was a therapist for 40 years, 10 years before it was popular. And it was like, I'm always on top of things. Why don't I know about this? Well, sometimes there are things that are new and you just don't know it yet. So I went home that night and I spent 12 hours on the computer trying to figure out if this was real. There was nothing to say it wasn't. I signed up the next day. I didn't sign up because I wanted to be a distributor. I wanted a lot of product. And so I just ordered like $1,000 worth of product. And then a week later, it was gone. I sold another $1,000 worth of product. I had no idea how network marketing worked. And I didn't listen very well in the beginning. I had been a professional salesman with the equipment and with the horses. And I thought this was a sales job, and it's not. Yes, product goes out. Yes, we get paid, but it's very different. I was trying to convince people that I knew that needed this, but they weren't ready yet. So I was spinning a lot of my wheels. And that was a huge turning point for me when I realized that I had a lot of people that did get on product because I was excited about it and I knew how to talk about it. But the bad part was I didn't need anybody else to help me, I didn't think. So I created a lot of customers, and within that first 10 months, they had a promotion out that if you want, you did so many distributors, and I think it was 19 in 3 months, you'd get to go to Cancun and mentor with the Pro 10s. Well, that's what I wanted to do because I wanted them to know that we need this in the horse world. So that was a big motivator for me to get down there and talk about that. Well, when I got down there, what I learned was I didn't know anything. I did not treat this business the right way. I was doing it by myself. I wasn't doing three-way calls. And so I got down there and I said, wow, this, after you talk to those people who know how to make this money, they know how to take care of people, you see how many people you have the ability to help, and you're doing it the wrong way. So I came home after that 10 months of doing it the wrong way, and I listened to what they said, and I did what they said. I started doing three-way calls. I wasn't the one that knew it all. I let people hear it from somebody else. And when I changed and just flipped that one little switch just follow that blueprint, 10 months later, I was a Pro 7. So I went Pro 7 in 20 months, but really it was just 10 months because I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. So I love the horses, and I could see this was an opportunity that I could help horses because I knew what oxidative stress was. I knew a lot of professional athletes, jockeys, and riders, Grand Prix riders. I knew what oxidative stress was when we have, different problems with whether it's soft tissue injuries or traumatic brain injuries, all this stuff that happens to horse people. I knew this could be a real factor for the people that I cared about. So I can't say after the 10 months that I got involved. And then I saw here was a path where I could change what I was doing. I could be happy every day instead of hating what I was doing, going in and not seeing things change the way I wanted it to for the horses. So LifeVantage, I can't tell you what it means to me to work for a company that, number one, does what they says, has products that really do work, and they take care of us. It's just like this past week, they paid us 5 days early. That's incredible. Because that was another factor that I had was, I really did want to switch gears, but, I was about 57 years old at the time. And I was like, well, to change gears and you have to make at least $100,000 to change gears. Where am I going to go do that in a short time? I can't think of any other thing that I could have done it in except network marketing. And I couldn't have done it without products I, didn't believe in. And to think the organization, who they are today, who our corporate staff is and how they take care of us, it's just been incredible. It has been life-saving in a number of ways for me. And I hope that each and every one of you can have what I have. That's the belief of what we have our hands on and how we can help our horses. So how I got involved with horses was I knew what PubMed.gov was, U.S. Library of Medicine. And you go there and you can put an oxidative stress in and you see all the hundreds of thousands of studies. I believe it's over 1 million now. And so I started researching just putting in equine oxidative stress. And I don't do a lot of testimonies. They're all pretty compliant for me. Haven't been from the start because as a therapist, I knew that, you had to say things a certain way or some great things disappear from you. So go to PubMed.gov and put in equine oxidative stress. You can go down and you'll see there's tons of studies, some on equine restricted airway. That's something that the racehorses deal with. There's also Cushing's disease, diabetes. Horses have diabetes. So there's all kind of information to build your belief there on what we have. And that's what I take to people when they want to say, well, what does it do for this? I can't just say, it does this. Say, hey, I was the same way. What I did do, I went to a research engine that is the Library of Medicine, and this is what I found. You can go there and put in equine oxidative stress. And you can also put in canine, because most of us that have horses, we've all got a couple of dogs too. That's just the way that rolls. So put in canine oxidative stress. And there's thousands of studies. If you really want to bump that up, another one, there's only 2 research engines. One is PubMed.gov, and the other one is Google.Scholar. Not Google. I call that Google Schmoogle. So that's another research engine that's validated by science. Now there's probably 30 or 40 times the studies on scholar.google because it includes all the digital studies, whereas PubMed just has the printed studies. So those are 2 amazing places to build your belief, see what's really getting done in science, and to be able to teach the people that are asking, what does it do? We have products that have science, and most of them don't, because I know I've looked at products for 30 years and there wasn't many I could pick up. So I hope that helps as far as how to research, how to find testimonies. I don't know if there's any particular questions. Was there anything else you wanted me to go over, Julie?
Thank you so much, Debbie. That was, some really great information and some great wisdom there, some tips on how to look on PubMed. And I had never thought of typing in, equine oxidative stress or canine oxidative stress. So that's really great. One of the things that I'd like you to share about, Debbie, is how you administer this to a horse. You use the Protandim NRF2, like what the dose usually is and how you go about administering it to them.
Okay. When I started, I just wanted to see what one pill was going to do. And I started with my old guy, he's 25, and he had some pretty major issues. And I could not believe how it turned his life around. So I started with one. He's a old guy out in the paddock, has a stall. He's not in kind of competition. So one will do a lot of things for a horse. I find that the horses that are in competition, most of them are going to be in stalls. So they're going to have more inflammation in their legs. They just don't get to be a horse. They're not out eating green grass. I find the professional horses usually will do better with two. I split that up, one in the morning, one at night, because when you use that NRF2 pathway, you flip that switch on for a few hours and then it goes back off, which is something that we want it to do. We don't want it to just be on roar and scream all the time, but let the body go back, relax, and then give them another one at night. It'll turn back on, helps clean up the body, clean up the system. There are times when you may need more than two. You get into some critical situations that you don't have a lot of time to see results. We have given them 4, 5. Again, this is a short time. It's usually for a few days with some pretty critical situations. I will tell you, you can give them the whole bottle and it won't hurt them. You can give them all at once one day. Y'all probably know some of our crazy stories where the dogs got a hold of the pet tandem and ate the whole bottle. It doesn't hurt them. It just doesn't help them, over 30 days if you take it at once. So don't feel uncomfortable about being able to share, a whole bottle with them, or if they eat it by accident. If you've just got 1 or 2 horses, most of the time I have horses that'll just eat it out of my hand, like a treat. Now, if you've got a large stable and you don't want to go down and, treat every one of them, but I don't like to throw it in the bucket, because most of you guys that got in horse business know your horse eats and he opens his mouth a lot, and that full pill could fall out on the floor and you wouldn't get it. And when I got started, no one really was doing this with horses, and I wanted to make sure they got it so that, I know what kind of results are going on. So you can put it in a coffee bean grinder. You need a blade like that because it's a pretty hard pill. And then just dose it out so much to, top dress some food if the horse is a good eater. If he's not, then put that little bit of powder on top of a handful of sweet feed or whatever he does like. There's another way I've done it when I've got a big barn on it is you can take that tablet, put it in a dose syringe with some water. You need to let it sit for about 4 or 5 hours, and then it breaks up, and then you can dose it down their throat. I find most horses can do it better with the powder, and it's less work for you.
Great. Okay. If someone else has a question or a comment, you can type it in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself. Debbie, is there anything specifically that you can share about the science that, and you usually use the human version of the NRF2, I'm assuming, but is there anything about the science specifically that would relate to horses that you might find helpful?
Well, the science is all there in PubMed. Like I said, that it talks about how that NRF2 pathway, just like, the way we talk about it, the way we look it up, it talks about how it's cell modulation, how we're actually changing the cell by the body being able to recognize that NRF2 pathway, that protein that's attached to every cell. When it's activated, well, then the body, it sends the message of what the body needs. And that's what it creates. And that's what's so amazing, is that we're not having to guess at the dosage or guess how much vitamin C or whatever they need. The body is producing what they need. They have the same problems that we do. Just like the sunlight and the air we breathe, they've got the same problems going on. They usually have it happening, I believe, a little faster because their metabolism's a little faster. They don't live as long as we do. I think that's one reason we see results with dogs and horses faster than people. One reason I believe is the metabolism. My other thing is the dogs and the horses aren't sitting around wondering if this is working. The people, we want to analyze it to death. How was this from yesterday? The horse is either going to feel better, do better. Dog's going to jump on the sofa and couldn't. That's why I love animals. So I wish people would just try not to overthink this the way the animals do. But it's an exciting time to live in where we now are not going, oh, they feel better. We actually know they're feeling better and why. You know, we're living in this technology where they understand what a cell does, what the nucleus is, what the electrons are doing. It's all there in PubMed. That's what's exciting is we're just not telling people, oh, this is great stuff. You know, we can take into some science where it usually is way over their head, but the fact that they are seeing science is pretty amazing.
Absolutely. Okay,
I have a question.
Okay.
Hi, it's Mary Ann Barnes. And
Hi.
I have a question about some research that I read on horses that crib. And I know that, you know, Cornell had said that it was something that just basically hardwired in. But then there was also some suggestion to say that selenium would help horses not crib because they were low in selenium when they checked their blood levels when they were cribbing, actively cribbing. But then what I thought was interesting is they said, so it had to do with oxidative stress. And I thought, aha! I didn't know if you had any experience with it. I did try to give my guy 1 protandem a day. He's the first cribber I've ever had. But anyway, it didn't seem to do anything with his cribbing. So, you know, who knows, maybe it is just hardwired in, I don't know. But I was just kind of curious to hear your take on it, or if you thought that dose wise there should be more than 1, or
well, I'm not going to use the word that cribbing's hardwired in, but what does happen when a horse cribs, when they suck on the air in, it creates an endorphin release.
right,
a feel-good release, and they get hooked on that. So horses aren't born with it. They usually learn it from another animal. If they're in a field with one, or they saw one, or maybe if sometimes a horse is bored, he doesn't have anything to eat, he'll start doing behaviors like that, and then all of a sudden it feels good. And it really is it's a tough thing to stop because it is a physical endorphin release that feel good that they don't want to go away. And they don't even know it. They don't even, you know, they can't rationalize, oh, as I'm sitting here cribbing, you know, this has ruined my teeth and my TMJ and all this stuff. It just feels good. They're just going to keep doing it. If you'd gone to PubMed and you saw there was something with oxidative stress and cribbing, there could be something there. I don't know whether that type of breathing also increases more oxidative stress, because it's a totally different breathing pattern they have. We know athletes, you know, that run and, you know, are real athletes that go out there and breathe differently than we do. They have more oxidative stress too from the breathing. So that might be some of the same correlation with cribbing, because it's not the way a horse normally breathes.
right. Okay, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry
The
about
other
that.
thing I want to put out there is a lot of times if a horse has, say, a problem that you want to deal with, and you want to give him 1 a day, and maybe it's not seeing a difference, give him that day. And an older horse that has a lot of problems could even take 3 a day. And if you give it to him for, say, a month or 2, and you start seeing improvements, there's a great possibility that you're going to be able to reduce that dosage maybe down to 2. Or if they're at 2, you can reduce it down to 1 after you've the body's taken care of that critical situation.
Very good. That's very helpful. A question here. Have you seen any results with people using NRF1 with their horses? And if so, how much?
I have not. I just have not been around. I did want to start that. I do believe there's, going to be something in it. Most of those horses that I was around in the racing world, we didn't want them to have too much more energy. But I believe that would be something to try. I mean, that's all we can do is try.
Very good.
I did want to throw out, there is another product that I use a lot on the horses, and that is the True Science #4, the skin cream. And I do believe that we could just go straight to the hand cream. I understand they both have the same NRF2 activation. The face cream just has more products in it for wrinkles and that sort of thing. But I have used the skin cream on a lot of skin problems on horses. Also for sutures, it helps break down, it helps keep so much scar tissue from happening, if they are sutured or as they're healing. I've used it on a lot of skin problems, scratches, those sort of things. It's truly almost mind-blowing product that we have that you can see.
Wow, that's awesome. And I've heard the same thing with dogs as well. Have you heard people using it for skin problems with our dog?
Absolutely. We've seen some amazing results. And I do have a distributor here in Florida that is an agility dog trainer, Lily Amarita. And when she takes the dogs to trials, they also drink Red Axio. It really seems to make a big difference in their focus.
The dogs drink Red Axio?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you ever give Axio to a horse?
No, I haven't. I haven't done that.
Wow. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I know how the Axio helps my focus, so I guess it would for a dog as well. Okay, here we go with another question, and we'll have to wrap things up here soon. I've started dosing my 14-year-old cat the same way. Now, wait a minute here. This just flicked off. Ground up the NRF2 and shook it up and squirted it into his mouth with a dropper. He went from lying on the porch listlessly one whole day to some very frisky behavior in relation to my female cat. Although they are both fixed the next day, I forgot to say I used chicken broth.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah. The trick to a cat is getting them to take it.
Exactly.
You may have a little better results with the pet tandem because it's got that chicken flavor. That's what makes the dogs love it, whether it's real chicken or not, or bacon, whatever it is, the dogs love it. And I usually tell my cat people to try that one, but good for you.
Awesome. Someone else is saying that they have also used the True Science on horses with great results. Okay, and someone else is saying, I've had several competition horses over the years, and some had chronic problems with ulcers. There are remedies out there, but do you have any info on this product and any effect on ulcers? And I don't think ulcers is really a disease name, so are you able to talk about that, Debbie?
Well, ulcers, I'll be honest with you, probably 60, 70, maybe even more % of competition horses have ulcers. It's their environment they're in. They're not in a herd the way that they're designed to be. There's a lot of things that they can get bent out about. But I did find I could look up anxiety because I've worked with a lot of young horses, 2-year-old and training horses, or horses say that they've been on the farm and now they're going to the racetrack for the first time. Well, there's a lot of high anxiety in there. And anxiety can also contribute to ulcers and stomach problems. So I just went to PubMed and went in oxidative stress and anxiety. I put a bunch of young horses that had a lot of anxiety on it, and we saw some incredible results with that. And I know that's got to be touching that ulcer situation.
I keep forgetting to unmute myself. Okay, let's see. Is the straight pro tandem better than the pet tandem for cats?
I would think so, mainly because it has a flavoring in there. Because has anybody tried chewing up an NRF2? It's not very good. So, I think using the pet tandem, there's probably a better flavor for them. And then they also have that the chicken collagen and amino acid that's in the Pet Tandem that the NRF2 is not in. And that was designed for animals.
Okay, and here someone is saying that they gave the NRF2 to their cat that was having seizures, and they gave him a half a tablet every 12 hours. He would poke it down the cat's throat past the gag reflex. That sounds pretty tricky.
Yeah, yeah. I've had to do that though before. Again, if it was an NRF2 they gave, you see, that's for about a 200-pound person. You probably don't have to give that much, you know, to a cat.
Right.
Make it a smaller piece and it'd be easier to get down the throat.
Right. Okay, and someone is saying, let's see here. I lost it. If giving to Cushing mare, how long would you wait for another Cushing's test? I don't even know what that is.
I wouldn't have the right answer for that, but I would probably give it a couple of months.
Okay. Let's see. Do you recommend Pet Tandem for puppies?
You know, I would say that at least by the time they're one, why not? They're growing. Even before then, they're growing. Their bodies are changing. Their ligaments, you know, where they're attached and everything, and they're running and rolling around, doing a lot of activity. I would, you know,
Yeah.
the dogs that I've had since I've been in this business, and I know that some of these products really made a difference in their lives. One was with me till she was 19 and the other one was 21. And I'm a big one about nutrition because even way back 30 years ago, I made my own food, and they got wild salmon and organic beef and organic vegetables, organic sweet potatoes.
Wow.
And so I know a lot of what they eat had a lot to do with why they were here so long. But I also, when they went to our products, they took a step up for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Well, actually, I have bred Gordon Setter dogs and had puppies, and I love starting the puppies out on the Pet Tandem. And actually, in their first year of life, they are developing their immune systems, and they have a lot of oxidative stress, and they're, you know, they're getting different vaccinations and things like
Right.
that, which
Yeah.
all you know, causes oxidative stress. So I am definitely a proponent of giving puppies Pet Tandem.
Awesome.
Okay, let's see here. We're going to go with just a couple more questions. Do you have time for a couple more, Debbie?
Sure.
Okay, let's see. People are using it in their as treats. Okay, let's see. So my 4.5-year-old mare, no issues, would benefit from NRF2 or Pet Tandem.
NRF2 for the large animals, NRF2. The Pet Tandem is really only for the dogs and the cats.
Okay. I have found my horses do not need another supplement, other kinds of supplements since they're using the NRF2. Any comment on that?
We can't say we never need anything else. I mean, as mine gotten older, there's some things that I do for him. You know, if you get your blood work done, like you can see if the selenium level's low, something like that. But our body is using NRF2. We're able to produce what the body needs. And that's pretty amazing. I know that I don't give nearly what I used to.
Okay, and then someone is saying both her mares are slaughter rescues, multiple ones in a few years. So, and I think that's it. So any other comments, Debbie, that you wanted to leave us with? Or we should sure appreciate all your wisdom and knowledge and experience. It's been extremely helpful.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you inviting me. I always love to share, you know, what I do know, because it's just building your belief is the biggest thing. And the horse and dog owners here, you know, it's going to get built if you'll give them the products. You know, that's what's fantastic, is that we see results.
Yeah.
And I appreciate everybody being here and being excited about their horses and their dogs and cats, and being able to do the best that we can for them, and go out there and create what you want so that you have time to enjoy those animals too.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Julie.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you everyone for being on here. And I just have a couple of quick announcements to leave you all with. And that is that on Saturday, we have our Success Mastery. And these Success Masteries have been absolutely terrific. They're on Zoom. And you can see that information in our Facebook group or on the company's Facebook group, which is the official LifeVantage Independent Distributor page. And then also this Saturday, once a month, the third Saturday of every month, there's the LifeVantage Academy. You can find that information on lifevantageacademy.com, and you can sign up for that as well. So the Success Mastery usually is just a little over an hour, between an hour and a half long. The LifeVantage Academy is 4 hours long. So then the other thing that I'm super excited about is our convention that's coming up October 23rd and 24th. And if you have not registered for that, please register for that as soon as possible. It's $199, but the amazing thing is LifeVantage is giving us this free gift box that's valued at over $300. So, and also if you can't watch it for that particular weekend, it's going to be available to watch for a 30-day period. So it's going to be fantastic training that you don't want to miss. I mean, we have this once a year training, and it's really going to help you with your business and your just ability to be able to make a difference in the lives of others. And, you know, like Debbie was sharing, just to be able to help so many people and our furry babies as well. So with that, I'm just going to say thanks again. Look forward to you all joining us again next Monday for our Zoom. And so God bless you all, and just have a wonderful rest of the week. Bye for now.
Thanks, Debbie.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Debbie.